Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we are going to see SM administration parameters and P are changed also. Earlier, when we were trying to create a P, R, we were unable to submit it because of system restriction. Now there is a one workaround was available which we will try to practice today. Let us go to the first topic of SM administration, which we will quickly finish it off. In supplier management, whatever you have seen, I don't think we have covered SM administration. Did we cover M administration? Can someone please come from? How do we import and supply directly into Ariba? No, I believe. No, right. Even though, if it covered also, it is to take look at back the session. Let us go to upstream and main is. This is the place we are going to see SM admin and SM administration. In these two places. Why we are saying two is because if your client is having suite integrated as well as SSLP subscription, then we are going to see that. If he is having only SLP, then he will be saying only SEM admin. Since it is suite integrated, we are going to see further. Clicking on any of these things will take you to the one page only. There is no difference. And the SM administration. Normally, if you want to main, is your any procurement solution. Generally, what we do is we go to main is click on administration. These areas are where administration tasks are related to your upstream related configuration. Once you click on core administration, these are basically to make administrator changes to your downstream solution. Procurement solution, downstream solution. Administration for upstream, downstream. For your core administration is for your downstream solution. And specifically related to supplier management or supplier module, we are having SM administration. By clicking on SM administration, this is in one place we can able to modify your supplier data. The first one is data import and export, and here you can import your supplier directly into Ariba using import suppliers. You can also import suppliers from sourcing, supplier contacts, and additional information. We have this many options. We generally use this for importing your supplier and importing supplier contacts. Other thing, generally we don't do suppliers from sourcing, and I don't know in which of the scenario we might use. But just suppliers and supplier contacts is more than enough. And also we can select supplier qualification data. Prefer supplier list data also. If you want to upload a certain supplier directly into Ariba without doing that qualification, you want to do that, we can do this data. We will see it. One scenario where we want to create a supplier contacts. But by clicking on supplier contacts, you can download the file, sample file, which will just give you an header piece. Then you will able to perform it or export and contact exports. If you are clicking on this download file, whatever the last prepared file in the system that can be downloaded. For example, in this case 25th August 7/11, the data of supplier contact from Ariba upstream is available in this file. If you want to run as of today data, you just need to click one more time of export. Then system will start processing the data and it will be available now to download the latest data. For example, this data is not a heavy sink. Now I have done this data. Now I will create a supplier here. I will enter some supplier contact details in the UI. When I download, that data will not be available. If you want to take the latest data, first click on export and then you download the file. Last export is done on contact export. I am just going to download this file. I will go to contact export file. Let me share my screen. This is your contact export file. I will take brand supplier, code participant, precious tools. Now I am going to remove other details. And I am going to maintain only. Now I want to add one more supplier contact into the information. I will select the same values. Here, this is your ERP vendor ID. Again, switch the system going to create it. If you are seeing Supplier 360 also, you are going to see this VDR information. Supplier name, source system is supplier management, which is Ariba, is your source supplier for this supplier. And now I am going to create a supplier's first name. This will be what is the name I can give. Renat Robert. Robert. He will download them and purposefully giving that he will not receive any email. Or we would just put G. Now whether true is active. Parts means this contact is not active. You assume is primary. Only one contact can be a primary. I will make this guy also primary. And I will just make the other one as parts. Creation and last update is not necessary. I can ignore that. My file has been prepared. I will hit save. Save that format. One caution whenever you are performing changes to a CSV file. If the data is consisting preloaded with zeros, for example, if your vendor master is having this number. Once you click on this, once you click on save, automatically the zeros will be removed. For example, I will show you. I am going to save this file. I will open that file again. Luckily, this did not yawn away. Otherwise, these zeros will be removed. Anytime you are loading. Maybe because of the test, it is not removed. For example, if you are having vendor number, call 10027625. Once we enter, zeros will be removed. That is the reason. Be careful in production system when you are entering. Try to open this file in Notepad++ or any notepad editor, where you will not lose the data. I prepared my file. I will go to the same Ariba screens. I will click on choose the file to import. On that export file, I will click on upload. It might take some time. Before that, I will show you some other information. Preferred supply status. Preferred supply data. Click on import. Again, I will do the same thing. I will click on export to take the latest data. I will import the file. I will download the file. Let's go to supplier data to see if this got updated or not. Import summary. Click on refresh. Processing. Success. 4 records are there. Success. If there is any errors, then you will be getting like this. If you click on this view tab, the system will tell you line number 1, line number 2. Source system is blank. That the SR we are mentioning right. That is, if it is missing, it will change the line number 146968. File was created dummy where they don't put the values. You are not deleted the line item, then system has no values. Like that, you might get an error. If it is successful, you will not get any errors or do the job. Now let's go to the UI and see that information, whether the supplier content has been loaded or not. Supplier management. Now either you can click on statuses like supplier request qualification and other thing, or you can also search on the window directly. You see, yes. I click on the vendor to have a 360-degree profile. Then I'll go to contact information. I like to label. Go to screen. One point here is supplier contact. CNIGI is not available Ariba as of now. Suppose you want to send this contact information to your back-end system. It is not possible. Similarly, if you are updating the supplier contacts on your ERP system, you want to pull the data into Ariba. That is not possible. It is only a manual activity. Either you prepare the file and do this import through SM Administration, or you add the contacts. Now you can see this guy become a what is called primary contact. Now I want to make this guy sorry. Now this is a dummy email address. I will keep Salal Ariba 3 as a primary contact. I will either click here and make him primary contact. This is how you do the changes in UI. Now you can see jumps with becomes your update. We want to delete. Also, you can do from UI directly, or if you want to modify any changes in UI directly, you can do that. This is where you are going to make the changes in SM Administration manually if you want to do this data. I will show you one more. You can. Similarly, you can bring your suppliers also. Take the latest file, change some dummy names, and you import the file. Automatically, the supplier will be available here. But when you see in Supplier 360, the supplier request form, qualification form, you will not be able to find any details. In that case, you can assume that the supplier was loaded through a batch job or an import job, or it is not maintained in your UI. That is how you will find out a difference, whether the supplier was loaded through an SLLP or it was loaded from a backend job. I will go to the file which we have downloaded. Open the preferred supplier file. I am going to the preferred supplier tab. If these are all preferred supplier categories of the file, I will open Precious Tools again. For Precious Tools, this commodity code and this region, it is true, and the level is 3. Now I want to make some changes. How do I make changes? Now I will add commodity code as this one non, map commodity code and USA. Then I will give this level also. By doing that, I can just delete values from here to here with the Precious Tools. Here to here. The Precious Tools is maintained in SM. I will copy this, paste here. Now for 1022, you stay on level. I am going to give the level as 2. Then I am going to remove this. My file is prepared now. Control yes. Now again, I will go back to the Ariba screen. Import the file. Choose the file to import. Now load the preferred supplier 80 centime. Click on upload. Wait for some time. Meanwhile, we will verify some other options on the left-hand side. Default field values, which I have not known. Define field values. Use sample to create and import specific files. I have not done this one. This will be your ERP integration type, where you are going to say how you are going to integrate your system. Earlier Cloud Integration CI polling client, this was deprecated. This client has been migrated to SAP Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway. Nothing but your key ID where it was communicated. What is your external vendor? ID from where you are going to connect. What is your buyer? ID where you are going to connect. Once you click on save, this integration is created. We are not going to touch anything on this integration. I will show you some other options in your integrations. Now initial supplier synchronization. I will show you in Supplier 360 how you want the supplier syncing has to be happen. Whether it is a manual synchronization or an automatic synchronization. If you select automatic synchronization, at what stage this automatic synchronization has to be done? When the supplier record is created SM. When supplier is registered, supplier is qualified. At what stage you want to sync the data from your Ariba to ERP system, which you are going to decide here. Currently, this was saved to manual synchronization. Choose the status of the supplier must reach before user can sync this 360-degree profile. What it means is, even if you do any ERP sync, which I am going to show shortly, suppose the supplier in registered status, then I will get the option to sync it. Other than these statuses, I will not able to sync the vendor from Ariba to your ERP system. That is what you are going to configure under Initial Supplier Synchronization. Supplier Profile Update. Similarly, you can enable supply whenever there is a supplier. The profile is getting updated. How you want to get this sync? Or, if you want to send an external approval, you can do that. Ongoing supplier synchronization. Suppose you want to update in a mass registration limitation wave. Then you can use this system. Update configuration values. This is if you have made any changes in your integration type configuration. If you want to make changes, you can do that. By doing all these changes, if there is any failure, who has to receive the notification? Here, all users in the SM ERP administration group going to receive an email. If there is a fail in the supplier sync from upstream to downstream, which I will just quickly show you where we are going to do that thing. Before that, let's verify our data. Import supplier. Preferred supplier. Import somebody. It looks great. Why it is missing from here? Let us take this preferred supplier for our vendor. Supplier management array. This is codes. Go to the preferred suppliers. Any we did for USA, right? This did not came at me. Anyway, we will check. Now, here you are seeing this ERP data. Once you click on ERP data, you will be seeing ERP sync in progress. Some sync has already happened, which is in progress. If you go to company code, in this case, Ariba will send your ERP data from SLP. Once it gets updated in your backend system, that supplier will be created and that supplier ID will be updated here with the ERP ID. Whatever you see VDR, this is a temporary ID created by Ariba. Once the vendor is updated in your ERP system, that item will be shown here. We will search for some of the results. Supplier management. Close this. The number ranges for the vendor master right, that they should be in sync between Ariba. No necessary. The number can come from your ones. Suppose you are maintaining one system called ERP with E1001 as your supplier. Whatever the last number which is created in your ERP, then the next record will be created in your ERP system. That data will be pushed back to Ariba only. It uses the same and the name of your system because for this record it goes by SIM-ID only. It is just a field which is getting linked to your ERP system. Now, whenever you see this vendor ID, VD, RVDR, this is still temporary ID only. Still the sync is not completed between ERP system and other system. If you see 000, 4, 5, this is where I was saying make sure when you are having lead is yours work only on files and not bad. If I click on this vendor, you can see here SMM vendor ID, ERP ID also got updated to 000. If I click on ERP data, I also get additional information. SIMM vendor ID, ERP vendor ID, integrated status, full name, markers, bank information. This information comes from your ERP system. Whatever you maintain in the supplier master, that information will be fetched and you will be able to see that information here. This is basically unified vendor model. This is also called latest ERP system. CLP system is based on a model called Unified Vendor Model, which is nothing but in S4HANA or ECC, how you are maintaining your supplier, business partner data, purchase organization data under one supplier profile. The same way Ariba, also making the configurations, make like you can see company point information, purchasing information. All the calls unified vendor model. Earlier it was not having that functionality. Only limited fields were there. Now you will be syncing full data from your backend system to Ariba system also. ERP system we have seen, now ERP now sync to ERP Resync now. When you click on Resync now, the system will send for update information to your ERP system. When you want to do this thing, that is what we are going to configure under SM Administration ERP integration data, whether it is an automated or it is a manual. If you click on automated, and it will give you what triggers the automated process. If you click on manual, at least what stage it should be for a resync operation. I will go back to the search results. I will try to find out a status which is not registered. That is status is called invited. Let us open some supplier in invited state. I will select this vendor. And this is the sync, but also. Anyway, now I do not see the button called sync here. When I click on ERP data, I do not see the sync button. If I go back to the search results and search for the registered supplier, that is where we have been, the configuration. Click for registered suppliers and select any one of the vendor. I will be saying ABC Infotech. Then once I go to ERP data, I get this button. Why it is coming? This is what we have configured in ERP integration status. We will just one more time check the update. This is true. Then we will go to SM Administration. Could be some issue. This is not updated. Let us go check in SM Administration. There is some error. We will check what is the error. Found valid qualification null for 1022 on USD but disqualified by null. We will quickly check that supplier. I think there is a disqualification also performed on that vendor, which is where the reason I am unable to prefer for USD reason. I go to supplier management. There is C. Maybe anyone from testing purpose they might have done. Qualification. No, I got it. I was qualified him only for electronic categories of India. Then I will not able to make him a preferred supplier for other reason. In order to do that, first I have to complete qualifications for category card which I selected in that category. And then reason also use D. Once I make this one, then once I include the preferred suppliers, then I can able to do that. Is it clear why that was not updated? Yes, no? Why are qualification preferred supplier ticket not updated? It is because he was not qualified. Only for qualified categories, only we can make them a preferred. Since I have not qualified from USD reason, I cannot make him as a preferred supplier for USD reason. In order to do that, first, I need to qualify him for USD reason for all commodities. Then if I upload that, then he will be qualified for all the reasons. I will click. Maybe we will try for a quicker category. I will select all commodities and reason. I will select for all the reasons for USD. Let us take for simplicity. I will take Singapore. You come next. Now it is you. We get the not started. I am doing in the back end approval. Let us see. The questionnaire has to be completed by the user, the supplier. Once this is done, then we will able to perform it. This task was assigned to this guy Smith John, which is true. Once he provides the response, then we can able to approve it. We will not focus on that. SM Administration. We have seen how do we import suppliers, supplier contacts of making a preferred supplier. Or you can use this directly qualification data also. You can directly qualify using this import file, as we can do that. Then you make a preferred supplier again. Is the qualified data you will able to perform. Here to integration, we have seen integration status. Suppose that there any errors are coming from your integration sending from inboard or outboard that you are going to see here. By clicking on here, both inbound and outbound, I think up to 1 month range, we can able to search the detail. You can see whenever the sync is happened, then you will be seeing that information. Request in and request round. Request in means it is received. Sorry, this is an outbound, basically sending from a IP to ERP. Once ERP gives the confirmation, then you go to inbound document also. If you want to troubleshoot this one, you download this file, messages file or XML file and find out if there are any issues. Generally, this will be done when there is a failure in your integration. You want to check what is the missing fields or something. You will be using this integration message status. Mass invite. This is the place where you are going to invite. I think this we discussed. Suppose you want to invite n number of suppliers. You use the web. You create a view. You can download this file. Just you will be entering the supplier names only and import that file. Once you have done your download, choose the file to upload once you give it. Mass invite. Let's open that. I show you. It is a simple file. What is your ERP vendor ID? What is your state transaction relationship? Keep this vendor ID and keep the relationship active or status or whatever you want. And then you go back here, import your file, then put the date when you want to. This event has to be started. Once it is done automatically, all the invite will be sent to the peoples mentioned in your list. A mass invite. Instead of going to the individual supplier, sending an invite option. With this option, you can able to send n number of suppliers to get registered into AIB. Similarly, you can import your questionnaires. You can download your questionnaires and import the questionnaires, and you can upload the questionnaires that are available for usage by the input. That you can use the questionnaires option. Inactivate supplier. This is what I was saying that day. Suppose how to inactivate a supplier. You have to make the supplier. Once you import the supplier, consolidate the supplier file. There is a field called stay active. There you are making a false. That means that supplier will become an inactivate supplier. If you want to see the supplier, you can click on this button. You see, this guy is an inactivated supplier. You will not be able to perform any activate with this supplier. Suppose if you want to reactivate the supplier, you will be selecting this and clicking on reactivate. This supplier will become active now. You can do a practice by going to the data import file. This is for your practice purpose. Download the sample file. I think we have the supplier contact, supplier export file. Under supplier export file, search for status active. Here, whatever you make a supplier false, this will be your practice. You can take any one of the supplier from here, any vendor master. You make the status of active to false. Don't change any other values. Remove the remaining data. For example, you are only for ODC template. This guy, keep note of this vendor, ID and number. ODC Technologies. I will make this guy. Let's do this activity also. I will make active as false. I will save this file. This file is available now. I will go to Spring Management. ODC Supply. Choose the file. Supplier Export to click on Open. Load. Wait for some time to process. Process is very good. Now I will go to Inactivate Supplier. I will found this guy. ODC Supply is also inactivated. If you see this ODC Technologies, this supplier become inactivated. Now, this is how you inactivate a supplier. Since I did for a testing purpose, I am reactivating the supplier just to safeguard purpose. I am just reactivating the supplier. This way, you can make your supplier inactivated in Ariba. Debrush. That is not updated. Now the record has been removed. Inactivate supplier. You can cancel a qualification directly here. Suppose you have qualified some vendor, you want to enter that vendor ID and cancel the qualification status. Now I will also show you parameters. Parameters are something when you are having an issue with some functionality which is not working as expected. Either you reach out to connect or you found it from your knowledge that particular parameter need to be in this status. For example, application SM vendor enhanced tax info. The value should be false in order to work correctly. Then you need to come here in the configuration parameters, make the ID and do the changes. Unless you are sure about this configuration information, do not make any changes. It will change the behavior of your application based on this particular parameter. Earlier, it was controlled by Ariba. Slowly, over a period of time, which is some standard processes, are giving the functionality to the business users, customer administration, to manage their own parameters by themselves. This is called your parameters managed by buyer. Some parameters are controlled still with Ariba only. Those parameters, if you want to make changes, you need to raise a support ticket. Once support ticket is raised in test environment, they will enable. That is generally a process will be. They will ask first. You will tell them to enable that in a test environment. Do the functionality testing. If the functionality is working as expected, do your regression testing. Make sure that the other processes are not affected. Once these two are done, you will come from back to them. Now we have validated in test environment. Please move to the production environment. Then Ariba will enable the same parameter in production also. That is called parameters maintained by Ariba. The one which you are seeing here as self-service parameter, where you can enable yourself. The parameter, what you are seeing is limited to SM administration only. The parameters for different environment like buying or invoicing. Where do you see? I will go to main edge. We will not have an access to that. I will show you from where you will find that information. Main edge core administration or administration. If you want to make changes to sourcing and contact, go to the administration. If you are doing for buying and invoicing, go to core administration. Click on intelligent configuration main edge. Once you click on this main edge configuration, it will take you to another site. Click on continue using your username and password. It will take you to the other site. You don't need any login details. But you should have permission to main edge configuration. Once you come here generally we are not seeing here. By here you will see the parameters. Once you click on the parameters, then the same what you are seeing in the previous ASM administration. You will modify that. It will also provide a small brief about that particular parameter. Once you make these changes, then save that item. And now you can do your testing and do the same for production environment. One advantage here is Ariba will create a project and you can also send the project for an approval. First, it will be enabled in testing environment. And you do the proper testing of that item. Once testing is performed, you accept that change. Whatever you enable the parameter accept that change, then system will ask you, should I move this to production? When you click on yes, automatically the setting will be enabled in production. Then you don't need any login details. For example, since I am logging ICMan from a tested environment, I am taking to the test page. If I want to do the parameter changes in production, I will log into the production system. I will open this file. Then I will going to see the parameters enabled in production. If you want to make changes to any of the existing parameters, then you follow the method called project. Once the project is created, it will go to the necessary approvals. Also can be configured. Once the person is approved, you validate it in testing and confirm you can attach the document also. Once the testing is accepted, then that same parameter will be updated in production. Then you don't need production login. That's how you manage your parameters, self-service parameters in Alipa. I will complete one more topic today, then we will wind up. Last time, when we are creating a peer, we were unable to submit because external system was not configured. There is a one method where I was able to perform that change. I am going to show that. Going to the home page, click on Procurement. Here I am going to say PR3563V2. Clicking on that. Now let us assume that you are made peer for a quantity of two quantities of $150, $300. I was made a peer. Now I have an option to make copy of this peer, create a new version and submit it. On the PR, it will change the version to V3 or I go to orders. This is the purchase order which was created again in this purchase requisition. I will open the order. This is your purchase order. You will be seeing different tasks related to the purchasing. You can make a changes to the purchase order. Even if you make a changes to the purchase order, let's see, I am going to change this purchase order change. System going to change on your PR only. It is not directly going to change on PO. You will see here PR3563. That's the reason. If anyone is asking, you cannot make changes to your PO directly in Ariba. The option is provided in PO change, but you are basically changing the PR only. Either you change from PR or you change from order. Both are same only in this case. I am just changing the quantity to 3. I will click on Submit button. Then it will go for a necessary approval task. Once I submit it, I will be seeing the request. Basically with PR, you will be seeing PR version 3. Now submit it. What will happen after submit it? It will check for approvals. Who are all approvals? Customer administrators and category mean as it is approved. As I mentioned, since I am having approval as an administrator, I can able to delete the approval flow only in downstream, not possible in upstream. I am going to delete as a best practice. Delete from the right hand side. Once I deleted the category manager, still it is in submit. Once I delete this approval also, then you will see the approval will go for approved status. I will delete the approval. Submit it. Now you can see this approved status. Wait for the second. It will move to ordered status also. Approved. But the next step will be ordered status. Now it is already in receiving status because we made a change. Now you can see the order is created with EP8805 because this was an earlier version which is in receiving status. Now after ordered status, it moved to the next status also. You can see the version 3 got created. In the P, or when I go to the history P, our history will give me details about what I have made the changes here. I have PREP805 was successfully sent to ERP. Approvals are not required. Then order got created. Now the supplier will also see version 3 of the supplier. Sorry, version 3 of the PO. Now I will also perform a receiving here. Once I go to the orders tab, click on order number system will take me to order space. Once I go to the receive system will create a composing status of invoice for all the open quantities. As I mentioned earlier, also until the open quantities have been completed, the system will keep on creating one composing status with receive. I will open the composing status. Click on edit. The quantity I have updated in my PO to 3. You can see this 3. Earlier it was accepted 1. If I make 2 now, click on submit. Automatically my PO status changes from receiving to receive. Click on summary or next. Continue to receive in order. I will go and click on receive button and open that EP805 purchase order number. You see the status has been changed to receive. When I go to receive, then all my open receive quantity also completed. Now I have a problem, but mistakenly accepted 2 quantities. Now I want to manage to do a reversal of 1 quantity. If it is in composing status, I can make a changes. Now there is no composing status. How do we make these changes? Note down the PO number. Go to home page. Click on main. If click on receive. This is in your practical, you will be getting this issue. Enter your order ID. If you see needs receiving, basically the system will throw you whatever open quantities for buyer 7 as the I will remove this one. Click on search. The system will give you whatever they open, this is goods for this particular user. Now I will click on all. I enter my purchase order ID. Click on search. The system will open. This is the vendor. I click on this one. Click on accept. System will ask me what you want to do. I want to reopen this order to perform a reversal of a goods received. I click on reopen order. Then you see automatically one more receipt has been created by the system. I will perform the action now. Click on the receipt ID. Click on ED. You will not be able to create a goods receipt on your own. You have to use the system generated receipt ID and make the changes. In this case, instead of 2 quantity, I just want to receive only 1 quantity. How you do the receivable? You will not enter in the rejected quantity, in the accepted quantity put -1. This is how you will be performing a reversal in Ariba. In ERP or ECC where you can select the relevant document, make an edit, then automatically it will be possible for 1 or 2 movement type and do a goods reversal. But in Ariba, it is not possible to edit a previously approved document. You need to create a new document with -1 quantity and click on submit. Then the system will do a negative receipt process. When I go back to the screen of Ariba and I click on order number, then automatically, and now I will see Ariba will create one more composing order for the remaining quantity. The -1 got accepted. Now one more quantity is kept open by the system. You can see 3, out of which 1 quantity has been received previously accepted is 2. Now I still have open quantity of 1. Until I perform this, received quantity Ariba will keep on creating one composing status, goods reversal. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.